Hello and welcome back to another lesson of Logos and Letters. My name is Liam. We study off of chapter 3 in this lesson, so let's get stuck in. Hotan heteron kath heteru kategoreitai hos kath hypokaimenu hosa kata tu kategorumenu legetai panta kai kata tu hypokaimenu reitheisetai hoionanthropos kata tu tinos anthropu kategoreitai. So immediately, have a look at the title, kategoriai. So come down and we see in chapter 3, kategoreitai. Kategoreitai is predicated. It can be translated as predicated, or if you don't know what predication is, it's when you combine a description with a subject. So let me just go here. Okay, so I could say is that a young man? I'm going to say it's a young man, not a boy. So the young man is standing. I've predicated standing of young man. All right, so we've got an angel here. The angel is looking. The angel, the subject, is looking. I've predicated is looking of the angel. The tree is big. I have predicated is big of the tree. All right. The river is gentle. Is gentle of the river. Okay, so I'm predicating. I'm putting a description with the subject, and I'm using like a form of to be to do that. So whenever Hotan is going to come up a lot, and Hotan sets up a conditional sort of sentence. So you know the philosopher's about to teach something new when we see this particular word. Hotan heteron kath heteru kategoreitai hos kath hypokaimenu. So whenever one thing is said of another thing, predicated of another thing, like according to substance, hosa kata tu kategoreimenu legetai panta kai kata tu hypokaimenu reitheisetai. So to explain and translate this point, have a look at this. So we see this young man here and we say, hey, that's a human being. But what is a human being as well? Well, someone say it's an animal. It's a mammal. Yes, true. Fantastic. And you've just explained the point that I want to get to. What if you ascribe something with a description, everything that comes with that description is also describing the subject. So if you say man, and a man is a mammal and an animal and a bodily creature and a contingent being, okay, then all that just got applied to the man as well. Everything that can be described of the description is also given to what is being described. All right, so if you say, hey, actually this is better. That's a rectangle, this part here. Everything that can be described about a rectangle is also described about this shape here. All right, there's another example. You can say, hey, that's an angel. But everything that can describe an angel is also described at the same time. In a word, what we're trying to get to is that every predication has further predication that isn't being articulated but is automatically applied, which is a really interesting way of thinking. It's like, what would be a metaphor for that? It's almost like passive aggressive in a way would be the metaphor I'd think of, but that might just get confusing. So let's continue on with the fact that if you articulate one thing, you're automatically articulating many other things that come with it, all right? It's a really efficient way of our language operating and our minds operating. So if I say, hey, there's a man over there, I also know that automatically that it's a bodily creature, okay? There's a bodily creature. I didn't have to say that. I just knew it. I could say, hey, look, there's an angel, right? And I know there's a bodiless creature. Okay, so that's what he's trying to say. Phrathesata is like is said as well, is articulated. Hoion anthropos katatu tinos anthropu categoretai. Tode stoion katatu anthropu. So here's exactly what we were just saying before. Just like man, according to some man, is predicated. Okay, so you encounter some absolute stranger on your walk, and your mind predicates man of this man, okay, or person of this person, immediately zdoion, animal, is said of this according to this man. Right? We don't have to spend time also articulating the thought or the word that the man is an animal. By saying man, you've also said animal. It's very effective. It's very efficient the way our minds and our language works. Thank God for it. Speeds up everything by the nth degree. Ukun kai katatu tinos anthropu categore thesetai. To zdoion hugar tisanthropos kai anthropos esti kai zdoion. Right? It doesn't need to be predicated that the man is an animal. Right? For some particular man is man an animal. Done. All right. So it's pretty straightforward. There's no trick or rule about it. Here's a deer with an arrow in its side. It's a pretty good shot. It's like right near the heart. If you say, hey, there's a deer over there, you know it's a mammal automatically. You know it's even if you don't know it, it comes with saying deer. So it might take you some knowledge to also learn that there are these other things that can be said of it and articulated, but it's there regardless. It's there as a feature, and that's why we don't use accidents in the definition. Okay, but some deer might be very dark in color, some deer might be very light in color, some deer might be quite large, some deer might be quite small. We don't talk about accidents in that sense. They're not automatic. They don't come with it automatically. Okay. Right here, we are talking about how if you say one thing, everything that's related to that one thing is also said too. Okay. And we might actually leave it there because this is going to get into another sort of separate topic. But let's give one last example. So we've got here some different people going about their day. Who do we want to use as an example? Let's use this guy over here. He's a geometer of some description. He's doing some proofs by the look of it. Wonder what proof he's doing, but he's got his stick. He's sitting there. He's got the particular accident of the knowledge of geometry. He shares in the universal accident of mathematical geometrical knowledge. He's, let's say, 6 foot tall, and he's got particular accidents of this particular grey beard and grey hair. All right. However, I can say that is a mammal, and by saying that is a mammal, everything that's automatically applied to mammal, I've also said. Same with building. Okay, buildings have their own. I can say that is a temple. If they use this as a temple, that's correct. And everything that comes with the temple is automatically follows along. I don't have to say that it's also a building if I say it's a temple or a place of worship or a social gathering place, an edifice. Okay? I don't need to. That'd be superfluous. Same with boat. Okay? Looks like they've got a large canoe or maybe a small bireme. And I say, there is a boat over there. Everything that goes along with boat is also comes with that word, okay? And that's why proper predication is so important, because we're going to get all these other things that follow along. And in the next lesson, we're going to get into species, differentia, and genus, but I've already sort of warmed us up with that and introduced us to that, so that won't be diving into the deep end. That'll just be a cruisy swim. So I hope you've enjoyed this rather brief lesson, and I hope you've learned something new. Thank you for your time, and as always, my name is Liam, and I'll see you next time.